want to take a moment for each of us and telling us how we are resilient in our own way.
How am I resilient in my own way? I am resilient because despite having epilepsy, I try to live a normal life. I know that I am more than my condition and having epilepsy is just a part of me. I am a good son, a younger brother, an awesome nephew, a favorite grandson, a smart student, an online gamer, and a best friend. I am resilient and continue to live my life normally despite my condition.
I'm not resilient in my own way. Well, despite failing in 7th grade, I'm still a pretty good student. Just because I failed in 7th grade doesn't make me necessarily stupid. It doesn't make me a failure. Just seeing all my friends move to the next grade was a little sad, but I know I'll get there eventually. I'm the eldest son, a mean brother, cool nephew, second favorite grandson, a hard worker, smart mouth, but an overall kind-hearted friend. I'm resilient because I have no choice but to do so.
I am resilient because things don't always work out the way I hope. I didn't graduate on time in high school. I graduated in summer school. I have been passed on for promotions, different jobs, different places. Even though I have the potential to be a great manager and be useful as an asset, it just never happens. Regardless of all these things that happen in my life, I am more than the man who feels who hasn't been seen. I am a proud man, a loving husband, a good dad, a big brother, the fun cousin, the second favorite oldest son, a producer, an engineer, a tech aficionado, editor, mechanic, funny, handsome, etc., etc., etc. I am resilient because despite all these things, I am still trying.
I am resilient because I knew when to take a break and when to ask for help. Despite taking a break from nursing school along with failing 2 classes, doesn't mean that I still do not want to be a nurse. Regardless what's going on in my life, I'm allowed to give myself a break, even though I do not think I deserve to. Seeing my classmates move forward and having them graduate was probably one of the hardest pills I had to swallow. And knowing this, I know that I'm more than the person that failed out of nursing school, because these failures are not my entire being. It's not the only thing part of me. I'm a strong Hispanic woman. I'm a dedicated wife, a fair mother, a big sister, a future aunt, the oldest grandchild, smart, I'm funny, I'm creative, I'm brave, I'm stubborn, I'm loud with RBF, and I'm an overall straightforward, genuine person that sees the good in everyone. I'm resilient because despite all the things that have happened to me in the past, I still look forward to my future and all the things that come along with that.
Hey guys, this is Table for 4. This is your boy Steven, and welcome back to another episode on the podcast. Today I will be focusing on resiliency, trying to define it, how it applies to our family, and sharing your stories can help a person build character and self-awareness. Hey Agent, can you tell us more about this episode?
Of course I can. What's going on, listeners? On today's episode, we will be focusing on resiliency. We will talk about how we are each resilient in our own way and how sharing these stories not only help build character, but give hope to those who may struggle in similar ways. Are you guys ready?
Yes!
Cue the music.
Hey guys, this is Stephanie.
This is Andre.
This is Adrian.
And this is your boy Stefan.
And this is
Table for Four, a family conversation podcast.
Welcome back. How's everybody doing?
We are good.
We are good.
So, what are we talking about today? We're going to be focusing on resiliency. But first, let's talk about the month of May. The month of May has so many different things going on. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Now, as you guys know, we've done an episode on mental health with the men's panel. So if you guys have an opportunity to go check that out, pretty please go check it out on YouTube. We had a great panel, talked about all things mental health. Now, again, mental health awareness is the ongoing efforts of trying to reduce the stigma around mental illness and mental health conditions by really sharing personal experiences and different stories. Often because of misconceptions of mental health and mental health fitness, people often suffer in silence and some of these conditions go untreated. Also, for the month of May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So, for this particular month, it's observed in the United States during the month of May that recognizes the contributions and influences of Asian Americans and the beautiful history, the culture, and achievements. Also, National Stroke Awareness Month.
Yep.
Now, we just released an episode with a great guest, Tiana Roman, who is a stroke survivor. So we had an opportunity to sit down with her. We spoke about all different things of how to deal with a stroke afterwards. So this May is also observed, and it was also created to promote public awareness and to reduce the incidence of strokes in the United States. So if you guys have an opportunity, go check out that most recent episode on the podcast, Behind the Stroke, A Survivor's Story. Guys, what we're going to talk about today. Hey, Stefan, tell us what's going on for our episode.
Well, some goals for this episode is to define resiliency and what it means to you, define adversity and what it means to you, and define fortitude and what it means for you.
Thank you for telling us some of the goals for this episode for today. So some of the key takeaways is really showing up is just enough. Listening is just another way and another part to showing support. Also thinking positive and having a different mindset can definitely make all the differences on how we react to the world and the difficult situations that we must face sometimes. Making mistakes is also another part of life, and how you react to it and how you recover is another way of how we can build character along with resiliency. And also by demonstrating better coping skills and being emotionally ready and becoming more self-aware, which requires focus and maturity. Adrian, can you share some of the key terms that are related to resiliency?
Yeah, some key terms related about resiliency. The main one is resistance, and there's some others like stubborn, passionate, a problem solver, also known as a critical thinker, sure will, willpower, control, and grit.
All right, some of the questions that we're going to answer today is, what is resiliency? What is adversity? What is fortitude? And then, how can we learn to be resilient and face adversity? As parents, how do we set examples for our kids? How can we continue to be supportive during the most difficult times? And what are some of the steps for overcoming failure?
I think these are really great questions. So how about we just begin with the definition? We're going to go with good old Oxford, because Oxford gives the best definitions for
Not Webster.
not
Okay.
Webster. So resiliency is defined by Oxford is the ability to recover quickly after something unpleasant, for example, as shock or injury, the capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from difficulties, or the ability of a substance or an object to spring back into shape, aka elasticity. So I want to continue with that. And the APA, which is the American Psychological Association, resilience is the process and outcome of successfully adapting to difficult or challenging life experiences, especially through mental, emotional, and behavioral flexibility and adjustment to external and internal demands. So a number of factors we take into part into that is how well people adapt to adversities. Predominantly among them is really in ways that individuals view and engage in the world, the availability and quality of social resources, and specific coping strategies. So that in itself, it's a large part of what resiliency is. So let's just ask the first question. What is adversity? What is adversity and what does it mean to you? Who would like to go first?
I think adversity means, like overcoming challenges.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Stefan, what about you? What do you think adversity means? What does it mean to you?
I'm using my single brain cell to think.
Oh my God. Okay. So let me help you and what the definition of adversity is. The definition of adversity refers to hardships, challenges, or misfortune. A good example includes overcoming disability, rejection, poverty, or struggle in order to succeed. So that would be an example of adversity. So when you hear that word adversity, what does it mean to you? Andres, what do you think adversity
It's overcoming obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what it is.
But isn't that
Kind of just said what I
Exactly.
said.
Adrian hit it right in the nail.
Okay. Okay. All right.
You know, and then with obstacles, it could be anything. Like you said, poverty. It could be a life-changing situation,
riots?
riots. It could be anything. It's how you overcome the situation.
Okay. All right. So let's ask the next question. What is fortitude?
Strength,
Strength. Okay.
power.
Power. Okay. What about you? What about you, Adrian? What does fortitude mean? What does it mean to you?
Well, I think fortitude could be like something around like more of like defensive,
Okay.
because when you overcome powerful challenges, you have to defend yourself
Right.
in the type of way, right?
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So the definition for fortitude refers to strength in the face of adversity or difficulty.
Defense,
Yes.
That's what I said.
offense.
Offense, defense, protecting yourself. It refers to the strength.
It's pretty much how you're going to overcome your obstacle. How are you going to find the inner strength to build yourself up in character to achieve what you want to achieve?
This is not a Disney movie.
What does that have to do with anything?
Why are these kids so
Because
spicy today?
in a Disney movie, you get magical powers. But this is real life. It's not Disney.
Yeah, in real life, you have to dig deep within yourself.
That sounds
To
so
fight
corny.
what? To fight what?
That sounds so
Villains?
corny.
No, not to fight villains, but to fight your whatever you're going mentally, physically, emotionally.
By getting a therapist?
You could do that, but get a
You can do
therapist.
that. Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely get that.
Yeah.
But thinking about how all of this takes into consideration, right? Adversity, fortitude, resilience, they all combine together in order for one to kind of build character. And it goes back to the key terms that Adrian was talking about. Those key terms we had is about resistance, right? Being stubborn. Being stubborn meaning what? Not accepting everything at all the time, right?
Face value.
Refusal?
Refusal.
Denial?
Yep.
Right. Sometimes stubbornness can be a bad thing, but sometimes being stubborn and being passionate is also a good thing.
Passionately stubborn.
You can be both. I've considered myself.
Ignorant?
Ignorance is not really.
No.
No, ignorance is not really what it is in terms of like resiliency or adversity. Being stubborn and being passionate about what you deeply believe in is one of the ways that you can continue to build resiliency,
Mhm.
right?
Like, one perfect example. If you think you're a failure, you have to change your mindset to not think as a failure.
Right, right. Just because,
Like, I am more than a failure.
Right.
I will pass my class.
right,
I will graduate. I
Right.
will pass my courses. I
Right.
will pass my tests.
right, right.
Yeah, I'm talking to both of you.
Absolutely.
But that hasn't happened.
Well,
Right?
you have to keep thinking in your mind. What do I have to do to pass these tests? Or what can I do? What more preventative steps can I take to achieve success?
Right.
To get
Work
me to
harder?
the finish line. Exactly.
Work harder. But then again,
And
everybody's
that's adversity
that's adversity.
and fortitude.
Right. So your strength to be able to continue to think in the way that is a positive mindset, right? Sometimes we think the worst of ourselves because we're having a bad day, but that doesn't make it a bad week. If I'm having a bad week, doesn't mean I'm having a bad month. If I'm having a bad month, doesn't mean I'm having a bad year.
If you have a bad year, you're not gonna have you
Bad
you're not-
decade, right? So you
But
just
then,
Bad
if it's
decade,
if
then
it's
bad,
a bad decade, then it's
century.
a bad millennium.
And then a
If it's not a
millennia.
bad millennium, it's gonna be a bad.
10,000 years.
Century.
so these are the things you have to keep thinking in terms of that. So going back to those
Century
key-
squared.
Exactly.
Century squared.
Century. There you go. So thinking about those key terms, a problem solver and a critical thinker. What is it? What do you think it takes in order to do that? You have to look at things at a different perspective, right? So that's another thing that when it's those key terms that are related to resiliency. Sheer will. Now, I don't know. The only example that I can really think about sheer will, I think about is John Wick. That's the only thing I can think of. Do you understand what I mean by sheer will?
Oh, my man.
By that,
Bravery. There
defense,
you go.
Protection, glory, power,
He's putting
throw in
that
the power words.
putting that Call of
That's
Duty
it.
information
offense,
to use.
defense.
Right. So, if you haven't seen John Wick, if you're not familiar with the film series, John Wick is an assassin who is his life, his one goal was to escape that life, right? So he did what he had to do. It's sheer will. My man was beaten, bloody.
He was determined.
He was determined. That should have been one of the
had
other
the fire inside of him
to make sure that
Everyone
he
paid.
and the
Cruelty.
amount of people he had to go through in order for him to do that, despite everything that's going on. His sheer will to do and meet his goal was the only thing that I can define, like I could think in my head right now, and just in terms of sheer will. Another thing I could think of, another term, is willpower. Willpower, I think it's similar to resiliency, but willpower is more like I think of it in terms of diet.
Like determination.
I don't know. Is willpower similar to that?
Bravery.
You've said bravery twice.
You said bravery like 5 times, bro.
right.
Okay.
Willpower, I think of it like in terms of like smoking. Like you have like you saying to
It's like
yourself,
resisting.
Yeah, like-
fight the willpower to.
well, not fight the willpower, but it's like willpower is meaning that I know that this is something that's not good for me and I'm not going to do it. You know, if it's not, it doesn't work in my
So
favor.
you're fighting your will, the power to do it.
The last key term I want to talk about is grit. Grit means, man, the word grit means it's almost like you have to get,
Irritated.
no. It's
What?
not irritated.
What?
Grit really means getting down and dirty
Mm-hmm.
and getting into the nitty gritty,
Getting your hands full?
getting your hands dirty to do the work.
Okay, grit is the ability to persist in something you feel passionate about and persevere when you face obstacles. This kind of passion is not about intense emotion or infatuation. It's about having direction and commitment. When you have this kind of passion, you can stay committed to a task that may be difficult or boring.
Oh, okay. So that means like going to the gym. You might not like going
You might
to
not
the
like
gym.
it, but you still do it.
You still do it. You might not like going to school,
But
but
you
you
still
still
do
got to
it.
do it.
I might not like going to work.
You
I
still
still do
gotta
it.
do it.
I like doing dishes.
We
But I
Still gotta
gotta
do
do
it. So these are the things that these are just some of the key terms. And perseverance should have been another key term we should have put in there.
Mhm.
Perseverance is trying to look at the bigger picture and seeing that there is a meaningful goal at the end of the line, right? There's at the end of the rainbow, at the end of the yellow brick road. These are the things that we're trying to kind of implore onto you and to our families and to children, that things might look bad for a little bit, but think of it as only temporary. Please think of it as only temporary. I want to bring up a clip that has a little brief discussion, and it's like talking about how resilience it is built from. And if we could take a look at that clip, I think it's a really cool clip to take a look at that.
Every day, we are reminded in the media about how the unprecedented levels of stress and trauma stemming from the pandemic have really amplified a pre-existing crisis in youth mental health. As a parent, it's frustrating and oftentimes disheartening when you don't know how to help your child as you watch them struggle mentally. Although we can't protect our children from all the challenges and setbacks they will face, we can help them build resilience so they confront adversities in healthy and productive ways. One of the keys to raising resilient children is parent-child communication. Children want to feel respected, heard, and understood by their parents. So it's essential for parents to know how to communicate with their children about the positive and negative experiences in their lives. Next time your child comes to you with a negative experience, listen and validate their feelings, even if you don't agree with their perspective. Let them know that it's common to feel overwhelmed with negative emotions sometimes. Asking the question, do you want my advice or do you want me to just listen, before the conversation even starts, will help you meet your child's expectations about the conversation. When your child comes to you about a positive experience, ask questions to get them to share more details, allowing them to savor that experience as long as possible, because those positive moments in their life will give them the strength to endure the negative ones. If you enjoyed those tips, click the link in my bio to learn more tips on how to help your child rise above stressful life events.
Thank you for playing that clip. I think that was such a great clip that kind of like narrows down that a lot of the stress and a lot of the issues that come up with mental illness kind of stemmed from the start of the pandemic.
Yeah, I want to thank Devin Still. That's his Instagram.
Thank you so much, Devin Still. I'm gonna make sure we have a copy of that clip on. We'll show it on the podcast show notes. I want to thank Devin Still for really highlighting and putting into a short clip in Instagram talking about how resiliency and how a lot of the mental health issues that we're dealing with, it really stemmed from the pandemic. So I want to thank him for really putting that. I'm gonna put copies of his link and the copy of that clip in our show notes, and you guys can take a look and I get more information for that as well. There's also a really good mental health ad that I wanted to share with you. It's just want to go briefly about the title. It says 5 tips to help us start a conversation about mental health with your child. And if you can kindly just pull that up. And it's really just talking about what are the tips of how you can help your child. And really it's just looking at these simple things. First thing is you want to choose a good time. Choosing a good time is just finding a time that's quiet, when everybody's available, when everybody's paying attention, everybody's well refreshed, and having the time to really just pick a time that's good, works for everybody.
Yep. It could be a walk, it could be in the car while you're cooking dinner together. It could
Anytime.
be anything. Anywhere.
In a car ride, if you're in your
ride,
commute.
Yeah.
Another thing is to listen actively. You know, sometimes I find myself like I tune myself out, not because I want to, it's because I work in pediatrics. So so I kind of tune out screaming, yelling, things of that manner. So sometimes when I have to find myself when I get home, you have to actively listen, because if they're trying to give you details and you're not really listening, they're going to be like, did you hear me? Did you hear me? Did you hear me? So it's really about listening actively.
The next one is validate their feelings.
Absolutely.
Emphasize what you're saying and let them know it's okay to feel the way they do. Avoid judging or dismissing their emotions.
So when you're talking about dismissing it, that's like almost saying, you know, oh, I had a hard time in school today. What you mean you had a hard time in school? What are you complaining about? Like
Because
something.
It's hard.
You're right, but but you just proved my point. Like, how would I know how hard your day was because I wasn't in your shoes, right? I wasn't sitting with you, right? So for me to be dismissive and like, it was easy.
See the stress.
Right. You don't, but that's what I'm saying. It's not for us to be dismissive. Like, you had a hard day at school. And for me to be like, whatever, that's me being dismissive.
But-
that's what we don't want to do.
Okay, but what do I tell you guys all the time?
What do
Do
you tell us
better.
all the time?
I said, suck it up, buttercup.
Oh my God.
Suck it up. Suck what up?
Suck it up. Deal with it.
Deal with
Deal with what?
It's cool.
What's
you have
school?
to go to you have to
Stress,
be in school.
anxiety. I'm gonna deal with stress and anxiety for school.
Right. But that's
You have that?
Probably because of math. I hate math.
Wow, math must be so depressing and hard for you.
It is.
So this is here us listening right now to you guys.
and this is us empathizing and understanding what you're saying. We're not dismissing your feelings. That's the
Yeah,
whole
we've been
point.
there and done that.
Been there, done that, so we get it.
Millions of kids did it. You guys can do it too.
Also, English is so depressing. It's like like, okay, today guys, reading page something.
That's exactly how my class
Oh
goes.
my God.
And then,
See, but school is hard. School is hard for everybody. That's the
It
point.
was never easy.
It's never been easy.
See,
But that-
and this is Lisa number 4. We emphasize with your situation because we've been there.
you're right.
so you want me to be like Mario because he does everything so easily?
what?
What?
Who's
This
Mario?
is so off topic.
Mario.
Which Mario?
Super Mario.
Bro, focus.
Focus.
Focus. But the thing is that trying to listen actively and emphasizing and trying to be empathetic to how things are going, and we not dismissing your emotions and your feelings like that. That's not helpful to anybody. And the last tip is really to engage in self-care. Can you tell us a little bit more about, how can we engage in self-care?
Going to the gym,
Going to the gym.
be active, play sports,
Hmm.
keep your mind mentally healthy
How do we do that though? How do
by
we-
being in the books, studying.
I don't think that's the only part. I don't think that's the only self-care. I think it's really about
No, it's about keeping
Eating
maintaining healthy
properly.
diet, sleeping, and doing activities that you like, exercising regularly, and get sufficient sleep.
sleep
You guys
is
need-
important.
Sleep is a big important.
Sleep is a big
Exactly.
deal. Like, you can't function if you don't sleep well. And then if you're up late
Look at
playing
me.
games and not doing what you need to go do,
Yes, ma'am. Do you require something from me? Do you need to talk
Okay.
about this?
I'm talking
We are
about
talking
you.
about
We're
you.
talking about
We're
you
talking
directly.
about all of us.
So those are the top
Well, you do
5
go to
tips.
sleep. Yeah, those are the 5 tips. But you do go to sleep early.
Yeah.
Stuff like-
So let's go over the 5 tips one more time. So first, you want to
Find a good time.
find a good time.
2. Listen actively.
Mm-hmm.
3.
3.
Validate their feelings. 4. Emphasize that it's treatable. And 5. Engage in self-care.
We didn't
Boom.
really go much about 4.
4. It's we know that
You're
we,
emphasizing it.
but we have to let you know that help is still needed. That's
Yeah.
what that really means. So that's what really that.
Because it says here, many children may feel shame if they're experiencing symptoms of anxiety or depression.
Right.
But it's important to reassure them that it's common to feel this way at times, and we do that. We do tell you guys it's okay. It happens, and we reassure you about that all the time
Why do you have that look on your face?
because it's true.
Zoom in on this the one with the big afro. Zoom on his face.
Because for us, for Mom and I, we constantly remind you guys about it.
About what? Suck it up, buttercup?
Suck it up, Buttercup.
How is that
But
supposed
that's
to help us?
but the point of that is that we're not trying to be dismissive of your feelings, but we have to take into consideration that the way that we grew up is very different from
Yeah,
the way you
and
guys
it's
grew up.
expected of you
And
to do well. in
we have
school.
high expectations of
Exactly.
you.
That's
That's
what-
what it is. That's hard. It's hard to think that way. But I want to just take a quick journey in a book that I was reading recently. Myself and Andres, we read. It was called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. Now, this book, came out years ago, and it's like up to series number 8 in the series. But the first book, to be quite honest, I thought it was all BS, to be real quite honest. To be really quite honest, I was just like, wow, whatever. I just didn't believe in it. But the interesting things is that there were many experts that were on this book. There were many things that were said, and it made sense, right? So essentially, the law of attraction is something that I just discovered later in life, right? I just turned 40. And the thing is like now I'm learning to accept the things that I can and cannot change. So I think that was a hard lesson for me that
I'm still fighting that. Hard to accept.
right.
Acceptance.
But here's the thing: when the point of the law of attraction is you attract what you want, right? So some of the visions that I have for myself and for my family is like for us right now, I envision you guys doing better in school, right? So how do I do that? We change your school, right? Because if it's not productive, if it's not helping you, if you're not happy, then we have to change the situation, right?
Or what if it's worse?
Then we take it. You've built enough resiliency to kind of say, all
Yep.
right, this is not working either. But
Suck it up, Buttercup.
and you realize it, and like this is not working.
Stop
I'm just-
sucking
I'm-
buttercups.
I'm just ignoring you because I'm trying to like focus. So, but the other thing is that having visions like this and changing your mindset is also another stepping stone for resiliency, right? So for us, I want us to be presenters. I want us to be speakers at a conference.
Yes.
I want us I want this podcast to be like really big for us. I want it to be a big family project where we can be presenters and talk in large audiences and tell them about the things that we do and the whole process of it. So
That
that's
sounds
like,
exciting.
It does.
But it also is a little nervous.
It is, but
Yeah.
but it's exciting because it's different. It's exciting because it's challenging. You know what I'm saying? So like that was like some of the things that the book, that book in particular brought to my attention. But I can't change things if I'm not willing to try. That's what I'm saying. So if you need help and you need to talk to us about things, you have to be willing to talk to us. You have to be willing to ask for help, and you have to be willing. That's the most important thing of this whole point. The whole point is if you need help, ask for it, please. And as a parent, as a mom, as a lady, as a woman, this is very hard. It's very hard to ask for help, but sometimes you got to recognize that you need help in the first place. The other thing is I had a very good friend of mine, Manetta. She was another guest on our podcast, and she talked to me about vision boards. So I think we should do a vision board as a family project. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. A vision board is just sets your goals, right? It talks about fortitude. What strengths do you have in order to maintain your goals? What are your long-term goals, right? A vision board is not that crazy. Talking about a vacation we want to take. What is the big vacation we've been talking about for the last few years that you've been wanting to take, Adrian? Cruise?
No, not what I want.
No. But what do you want to put on your vision board when we start creating that project? What is the big vacation place that you want?
I think it was Japan.
Japan. That's what goes on a vision board. You know what I'm saying? And then you put pictures of like places to eat and places to visit. That's what the point of the
I don't want
vision
to seem
board.
like that person who just wants to be in Japan because, ooh, that's so anime.
Nobody's
No,
saying
no,
that.
because
I
like
mean,
of
that
the
could
stereotypes
be
when people say that, like, oh, I want to go to Japan because all of this. No, I want to go to Japan just to see like everything.
the culture,
Because it's different. That's why. Because I want to explore everything. I want to see what's so amazing about it.
Right, of course. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if we work
Right.
together on a vision board as a family and you think about these things, I'm like, all right, cool. What do I want to do? This is a big goal for me. You know what I mean? So I think that'd be super cool. Andres, what do you think? Like, what would be on
because
your vision board?
My vision board, I always wanted to go to Japan. That was
See?
that's
How
on
long?
my. I've been always
Before
wanting to
you
go.
were born.
Yep, I've been wanting to go since college.
Since college, because
When we were in architecture school, some
Yeah.
of my favorite architects were Japanese.
name one.
Arato Isozaki.
Isozaki. Yes. And quick story. I was able to get your dad a book, and
One of my other favorite architects.
one
He's
of his-
a Spanish architect, Santiago Calatrava.
Calatrava. So I surprised your dad with that, and I don't think your dad ever repaid me that day. Just throwing it out.
What do you
there.
mean? oh yeah. Well, mommy got me. We went to one of his conferences here in New York.
Yeah.
Talking about sustainability, and I also had his book, so he signed my book.
It was pretty
He's
cool.
one of my favorite architects of all time. He created he created
Some of these structures that you see now.
the PATH train station
the
in
PATH train.
World Trade Center. It looks like an eye.
He was part of that design.
He's designed because he's an architect, he's an engineer, and he's a sculptor. He's a sculpture artist.
Which one is it? Sculptor,
He's a sculpture artist, engineer, and architect.
Yeah. He's all three, kid.
He's all three.
He's all three.
So all his designs are based on the human body and mind.
Yeah.
And physical nature and for animals. So when you see like the World Trade Center, we've been to the World Trade Center, the train station. It looks like ribs. There's a whole bunch of it looks like
You've seen the
fins.
structure before.
Is the whole train station supposed to represent our human body?
Yeah.
No, well, it's
Well,
the eye.
some
It's the eye.
concept. It's a
Concept.
concept.
So if the whole thing's an eye, imagine how much time it will take to have a whole human body.
What are you talking
Like
about?
a rib cage, the leg it just goes down, and the feet.
Well, he
The arms.
he visually draws it, and then he turns it into a
It's all
sculpture,
it's all
and then he
conceptual.
turns it into an architectural design.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite designs is he did the Milwaukee Museum. It's a museum, but it looks like a bird. It looks like it's
Huh.
the wingspan of a bird.
Yeah, it's an amazing
And it looked
piece.
like it's a bird landing
Yeah.
on the runway. It looks insane.
But these are the things you want to put on your vision board, right? Meeting your favorite architect, meeting a celebrity, going on that dream vacation, talking about what are some of the goals you want for yourself. So for me, my goal is to go back to nursing school and finish. What are the steps that I'm taking to do that? I'm reapplied to another school. I'm submitted letters of recommendation. I submitted my nursing school essay and things of that matter. So those are the steps that I'm taking towards that. Another goal for me is, again, for us to speak at a conference and for me to do my own TED Talk. Those are the things that I'm putting on my vision board.
I want to be
The
like
law of attraction. This is bring it to me. Bring it to me.
I want to be like that young like prodigy.
Here it is, Adrian.
Huh? What?
Yeah.
That's a bird. It was like an airplane.
Well, taking flight.
Yeah, taking flight. Look,
Taking
it look
flight.
Like it's leaving.
Yeah. So for me, it also looks like a stingray. Also, but again, like
It's like a dolphin's fin.
what it is that we're talking about in adversity. Some of the things that we want to do in life are going to be hard to accomplish. So we have to change the way we think. We have to change the way we look at things. And we have to be a little bit creative. A little bit creative. Stefan, what do you think would be on your vision board? What is a dream thing that you've been wanting to do? You were talking about it today. You're talking about you wanted to go do something with Mr. Beast or something. Like tell me something you would want to do on your own vision board. Yeah. Go ahead, tell me a little bit more. What do you think would be a good goal for you?
Or like to meet. Who you like to meet?
To-
So he's getting nervous. He's getting butterflies right now just thinking about it.
All right, so think about it. Okay, so if Mr. Beast was able to watch this video, what would you say to him?
I like his videos.
Mm-hmm. And what else?
I bought his chocolate bar.
Okay. And what else about his videos? Like, think about it in a sense like you're trying to talk to him and say, hey, I would love to meet with you. My vision is to, do a challenge with you, or my vision is to share a movie with you, or like share a video, or do a video together, something like that. That's what I'm saying. Like vision boards those are the things that you can do to accomplish something that you might think you might never be able to do, but then you might surprise yourself. Is there any place you would like to go?
A huge ship.
You want to go on a cruise?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Put that on your vision board, kid.
Okay.
It's attainable. Those are the things. But what I'm saying here is that
Own a cruise.
on a cruise. Here's the thing. When it comes to thinking about positive things, thinking about all the different things that it takes time. Things don't happen overnight. Right? That's the most important thing we have to think about. That things do not happen overnight. But I think this would be a great family project, talking about vision boards, thinking about goals we want to attain, different things like that. So I
Question.
think, yes.
How big can the vision board be? Is it like
It could be, well,
is
listen.
it like a foreshadow vision board?
It's basically you're throwing it out to the universe.
Yeah.
That's what basically.
That's
doing.
basically
The
what it
laws of
is.
attraction. You're throwing it out there to attract it.
To come and say, we need this, or we can achieve this.
Don't bring science into this, please.
Well, I mean,
But everything is based on science.
a lot of things are based on energy.
Mommy just read the book.
I just read the book.
I read the book in like 2000 and
A lot of things are
8,
based on energy.
9.
A lot of things
And
is
you
based on
remember?
energy. Yeah.
I remember it.
So,
And I did it too, because like one of my dream things was to be on Survivor.
yes.
And what?
And the game show Survivor, the reality show, because I feel like I could outsmart all these mofos. And I've
What you said?
Huh?
What you said?
I said I can outsmart all these
Okay.
I can outsmart all these motherfuckers.
Watch your mouth.
And, yeah, so I auditioned a few times, and I didn't hear anything back. But that's still, who knows? Maybe later
How long
on.
ago? Ooh.
Wow.
You were born.
Yeah.
You were not born yet. Like 10 years ago.
Boy, what you looking
And I
at?
remember when I was in Florida,
That
I
was
flew
the
back.
zestiest boy, what you looking at?
I
That was
remember,
not
I remember
zesty.
flying back from Florida to go to the audition.
The audition. Right.
I flew back a day early.
But you met somebody there.
yeah, I met some friends out there.
You met some friends out there.
I'm
So
still
maybe
friends with them, yeah.
maybe it's just about the connections.
Yeah.
Maybe it didn't work out the first time. Maybe it might work out later.
And the friend I met, my boy Jeremiah DeMalls, my man, he's an actor.
Yeah,
He's been on I think Power, or one of those shows. You know, he's done a lot of commercials and stuff.
He's been busy.
Yeah, he's been busy.
He's been busy. So those are the things, like, you would be surprised how, even though you might have not gotten on Survivor, you were able to make a connection.
Yeah.
So this is what we're trying to tell you. Change the mindset. Change the mindset. But moving on, I want to go talk about an article real quick, because I think it was very important in terms of my relationship, or my complicated relationship with nursing school. I say complex because when I started, I had a clear goal. I had a clear sense of what I wanted to do, what I wasn't going to do. And one of those things was not failing, right? But yet here we are. That was not the case. And we really talked about how failure is just one part of me. It is not all of me. And I am not a complete failure because I failed class. And we mentioned that before. So if we can bring up that clip real quick, and talking about something that really angered me. I don't want to use the word anger.
Fake diplomas?
Yeah.
Angered.
Yeah.
Did it empower you?
You guys ready?
Did it frustrate you?
Play the tape.
Play the tape.
Say involves your health care. Untrained nurses accused of working around the country with fake diplomas.
Investigators with the Department of Justice say thousands of forged diplomas were sold by 3 South Florida nursing schools. Ari Height joins us with details on the dozens of arrests that have already been made. Ari?
Now, 25 people in all are charged in this investigation. That includes the people who ran these 3 schools and the people who recruited students to those 3 schools by promising them a shortcut to a diploma. But federal investigators say in this case, a shortcut meant no work at all. Some would argue nurses are the most important members of our healthcare system. You rarely see a doctor without seeing a nurse first. We trust them in many cases with our lives.
The last thing we want to learn is that the nurses administering the medications, the ones charged with carrying out the doctor's order, took shortcuts on their clinical training.
But according to federal investigators, that's exactly what was going on at 3 schools in South Florida, 2 in Broward County, and the Palm Beach School of Nursing in West Palm Beach. 25 people were charged Wednesday, accused of being part of a scheme to sell nursing diplomas from those schools. Give them about $15,000 and they'll give you a nursing diploma.
The fact of the matter, though, is the nursing candidates had done no work for these diplomas.
No hours of instruction, no studying, no clinical work, just the diploma. And in most cases, that fake diploma led to a job somewhere in the country as a nurse.
These allegedly fraudulent documents may have allowed nurses to serve in critical healthcare roles.
The U.S. Attorney says in all, about 7,600 fake diplomas were sold for about $114 million. All 3 schools are now shut down, and state nursing boards around the country have been alerted to look for those without real diplomas.
To date, we have not learned of nor uncovered any evidence of patient harm stemming from these individuals.
The federal authorities say they do not plan to file criminal charges against the students who bought these fake employees. However, they also pointed out that state authorities throughout the country can still charge those students if they want to. Reporting live, Ari Height, WPBF 25 News.
I heard $114 million
in terms of paid fake diplomas, right?
So how much? Like 15,000 per diploma?
Right. You could just think of the numbers.
Yeah.
Just like we could just do the calculation quick in your head. It's too much. Right? It's too much. The look on my face when I first heard this story, in the midst of me studying, in the midst of me crying, sitting here, having my husband ask me 1,000,000,005 questions, doing concept maps, doing presentations,
Studies.
doing study groups, doing the clinical trials, doing clinical skills, going into the hospital 5 a.m, coming in, coming tired, working part-time. Like my frustration, I'm already bleeding into your mic. I'm sorry. The level of frustration got me all fucked up. Okay? I missed the buck. I missed the bark. I missed the mark.
Was it the frustration word?
It got me all up. Okay? That's where I'm at.
You didn't see the F.
I did it. But that's the thing. My
That's like nearly 10,000.
yes. Yes.
Like I just did the math.
In your head.
Like nearly 10,000.
That's what you said, like 10,000, 134 students, something like that.
10,000 students.
No,
Paid.
no, the diploma in total, like almost 10,000
It was 15,000
Yeah.
per diploma.
per diploma.
That's one student.
So
right?
they paid $15,000 for them to not go to school at all. Meanwhile, I'm busting my ass. I bust my ass to go to school. I go take care of my family. I go do what I have to do. I got to go to work. And then these people are going without the technical skills, the technical needs, the clinical hours in order to obtain their nursing. And I failed. I failed during a time when my son was diagnosed with epilepsy. I was failing because I felt stress and anxiety, being able to still be a mom and still be a wife and still being able to balance. I still had to worry about my kids. And yet these people pay $15,000 for a stupid diploma that means crap. It's not, and those people that are out there, I feel bad for you. I feel bad for you because there was no reason in order for us to get that free pass. You're messing with people's lives here. You're messing with the people's livelihood now. Mm-hmm. So now the people that have graduated now, they've been in the field for God knows how long. God knows how long, right?
Because they went ahead and passed the NCLEX.
They went ahead. They're either really, really smart, okay, or I'm just really, really stupid. I really don't know.
But you're not stupid.
That's the thing. And this is what frustrates me because I put in the work, I put in the sweat, I put in the tears and everything like that. And then people get a free pass like this. Oh, I just paid $15,000. Let me go pay $15,000 too. So I don't have to deal with the stress and I don't have to deal with the anxiety of testing. And then why? But that is just my rant. And all my coworkers that are future nurses and their future PAs and nurse practitioners, many good friends, they went to school for years and they told me how hard it was. And for them to get the easy way out frustrates me because that's just like a slap in the face to the profession, because you have these nurses that worked during the pandemic that were stressed and left the field. They left the field because it was just too much to bear. Okay, imagine you're a nursing new grad, or imagine yourself as one of these people that graduated and you're working during the pandemic. I have no words.
Today's weather is cloudy.
It's spicy.
And spicy and hazy.
But here it is. Listening to this, I'm listening to the challenges, the adversity, my fortitude, my strengths, my resiliency.
Your grit.
My grit. This is what makes it happen. Seeing these stories, knowing that it doesn't work out for me, doesn't mean that it's not going to work out for me eventually. And then the people that I got caught, they will eventually pay the price. So I'm throwing the laws of attraction out there, throwing it out there,
More science.
throwing it out into the universe, that if I think positively and I think in the sense that I will be a nurse, I will be this, then it will come to me eventually. And that's what I have to say about it. Because I'm mad. My bitch is mad.
Mic drop.
I'm mad right now.
Yo, she is mad.
Daddy.
So on this, why don't you start with some of the questions we want to answer?
Number one, how can we learn to be resilient and face adversity? I think we answered that.
I think we did. I think we did answer that. If you want to just kind of like go back and
No, you summed it up pretty well.
don't play me like that. So, all right. So just a quick recap, right? Resiliency, right? It really refers to the ability to bounce back, right?
Yes.
And to adapt in the face of challenges, setbacks, and adversity. So failing a school, failing class, that's considered a setback, right? It involves being able to recover from difficult experiences and maintaining a positive mindset. That's what that is, right? So learning to be resilient and being able to face adversity, some of the key factors is developing a growth mindset, right? So really what that means is embracing the challenges as opportunities for growth and to really see the failures as a learning experience. Another thing is building strong support networks. Really is just surrounding yourself with supportive people. Cultivating self-care practices. We talked about this before. Eating well, exercising, doing activities that you enjoy, things of that matter. So it's just really taking care of your physical, your mental, and emotional well-being.
Put yourself in a state where you could deliver.
Exactly. Also developing problem-solving skills. We talked about this is one of the key terms, being a critical thinker, right? Learning to have effective problem-solving strategies to address those challenges and to really find different kinds of solutions. The last thing I want to talk about is practicing positive thinking, right? This is how the secret comes into play, right? You want to send out the laws of attraction. You want to attract positivity, positive thoughts. That's what you want to do. You want to focus on the positive aspects of that situation and really maintain being optimistic, right? Being optimistic is not always the best means of thinking. I mean, being optimistic is not always a terrible thing, but it's really about reframing the way you look at things. And again, looking at the setbacks as something that is temporary. Temporary. That's really what that is. I hope I answered the question.
You did.
I hope I answered.
And now this segues into, as parents, how do we set examples for our kids?
Okay. So I have some answers here. And again, I really think it's just, we really answer that. So I don't know if you want to kind of like review that and really say like, how can we set,
Yeah, I think, we covered this. So the first one is demonstrate resilience in our own lives, which we've talked about our past to our kids of pretty much all our lives,
Yeah.
or their lives,
Their lives.
of what we struggled up growing up and our struggles and what we came through and our adversities. So that was how come I messed up.
Okay, so
So I think we've showed them and we've told them our past
okay,
and
so
what we did to overcome it.
so when you're saying demonstrating resilience in our own lives as parents, right? How have you demonstrated resiliency in your life? What are some examples that you can share with us?
Me not graduating high school on time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, like to me that was a perfect example because I was dumb.
Okay.
I was an idiot not to do the work in class, so I had to pay for it. I paid the price.
Paid
So
what?
I had to overcome that, and I went to summer school and I graduated in summer school.
But does that make you dumb?
No, it doesn't make me dumb. It just made me lazy.
Okay.
So you're lazily smart.
Lazily smart. I don't think
Word?
that's a word. I don't think that's a
Webster,
word.
please confirm that it's a
I
word.
don't know. We don't talk to Webster. We talk to Oxford.
Oxford can suck it.
Okay, so what's another example of how you demonstrated resiliency? What's another example? You talked about your jobs and your positions.
Yeah, like I said, the high school is another situation. College
Mm-hmm.
was another one. You know, like I struggled in college, but I kept going at it because I'm like, you know what, I want to make something of myself and for my pleasure, for my own thing, my own physically and mental mind. I wanted to graduate just to prove to myself that I can do it, that I can graduate.
Yeah,
college.
but you can't take all the credit because I was like, that's when we
Yeah, you
first
pushed
met.
me, yeah,
I
'cause
pushed you
me to do
too.
it.
I was like, come on, you could do it. I even offered to like pay for school.
You
and
did pay for school, too.
I did pay
You
for
paid for
school because I'm a.
But I also wanted to
baller.
impress her.
How did you want to impress me by going to school?
That I could do it. That I am the man of your dreams.
You're trying to
I'm a
riz her?
smart kid.
Daddy, you trying to riz her up?
I'm trying to rizz her up.
What kind of word is that? I've never heard that. But I think your examples of resiliency is that we're demonstrating that even though I failed nursing school, that doesn't mean
It's okay. You can bounce right back.
you could
up.
bounce back after that. That I think that's as parents we only can lead by example. That's really what
Right,
we're
and
trying.
that's another thing. Part of it, encouraging a growth mindset, teaching our children to embrace challenges, learn from the failures, and develop a positive attitude towards setback.
And I mentioned that before.
And I think
really,
we've done that.
and we've done that. Like how have we?
I guess we get upset when nothing goes our way, but at the end of the day, when the storm calms down,
Yeah.
it's how do we we redeem
Focus on his
ourselves.
face. Focus on his face because he has this look of confusion. Focus on his face.
So it's how we redeem ourselves at the end.
We're not perfect.
We're not perfect,
We are not perfect. We are
and we try to
parents,
instill into you guys that we're not perfect,
and we try to say,
and it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you expect us to be perfect.
I expect you guys because I feel like you guys should know better,
Especially me.
especially you and him too, both of you guys. Mommy and I, we have high expectation for you guys.
See,
We-
but
And that's because we set the bar for you guys high.
yes. But now that we realize that the school plays a big part in how your self-worth and
School's tough. School's not easy. Nobody said it was gonna be easy.
It's not easy.
This school makes it dreadful.
Right. I was gonna say, like, it's different when you don't feel seen and you don't feel heard.
That's all the time.
You know what I mean?
See, but my problem with your school is they teach you guys to be leaders and speak your voice, but yet they don't let you guys
Stand up for yourself.
stand up for yourself. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for.
Because it's a private school.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
And then this stems up to our last one. This is provide emotional support, being there for our loved ones, listening to their concerns, and offering reassurance can help build their resilience.
That was well said. Well said.
Thank you.
Wise. So wise.
Very wise. Thank you.
All right. Next question.
Yeah. Let's go with the next question.
So now that we've talked about all these criteria and how we can set examples for our kids, now we get down to our next question is how can we continue to be supportive during the most difficult times?
Now, the difficult times can be applied to both the parent, the child, the family, the loved ones, things of that manner, right? So we touched upon this. We talked about practicing active listening, right? Being fully present and paying attention when someone is sharing their struggles. That's one of the most important things that we can do. That's the only thing that I can really emphasize is like really practicing active listening. The other thing is to offer empathy and understanding. Like we mentioned this before, that it's really about validating your emotions. That's really something, and letting them know that you're there to support them. Offering practical assistance. Like, here's the thing. As parents, just offering something so simple kind of to like alleviate some of the burdens. Like when you wash dishes, you might not like it, you might not, but it alleviates me from me doing it, right? You might not think it's a big deal, but I appreciate it when I have to yell at you and tell you that you have to do it because
Why?
it's part of it.
But yelling does
I
not
do.
make it better.
But now here's the thing.
You don't do dishes. I don't want to hear it.
But
that's-
why? Why do you yell at us? To
Because
make
you don't listen the first time.
Does it make you feel better?
It does. Sometimes
How?
it does, and sometimes
You're
it doesn't.
insane.
It's
You're-
therapeutic.
It's therapeutic.
Yes,
You're
when you
crazy.
yell at someone, you want to
Listen,
stress out. You like
listen,
yelling at them all the time.
Listen, when you guys do dishes, it's to build character.
It's not you guys, just me. Just me. Just me. I'm building character, not him. Just me.
Just
When you do dishes, it builds character. Doing chores builds character. And we-
How?
and
How
we-
do you want me to be cleaning cat litter my entire life?
if it's part of one of your responsibilities,
You
then
want to
yes.
just let it rot there the whole
What
Listen.
time?
happens is it shows you to
Exactly.
take responsibility.
exactly. So
That's
when
what
you
it
get
is.
your own place, then you're gonna start cleaning up and you're gonna tidy up and you're gonna be like, damn.
You have to take care of yourself.
Exactly.
You have to take, and that's part of self-care. Self-care, meaning you take care of yourself physically, emotionally, mentally. That is
Yeah.
what you are doing. Because if you put yourself in a habit, whether it's a good habit or a bad habit, a habit's a habit. So if you're constantly cleaning or you're constantly studying or you're looking to do things, keeping active, doing things that you don't want to do,
Exactly.
but still doing them.
Yep. And one of the greatest examples of life of this is Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off, baby.
all these movie references are like killing me right now. It's just really
We're too young to get it.
no. Well, that's okay. But think of it like Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai. You scared the shit out of me. Scared the shit out of
Like
me.
Mr. Miyagi.
So again, these are the things
It
that
builds character.
it builds character.
What
right?
kind of character?
It
What
builds
character do you want to be?
the type of person that you want to be. You want to be an overall good person. That is the point of our job, is to
Mhm.
make sure that you are an overall
Yes.
good person.
Over the wall.
Over the wall. That's
Yes.
where we're at.
Like my job as a dad is to build you guys up to be respectful gentlemen in our society.
And train us to have a good ego,
A good ego,
Mhm.
a
Be
good
confident
be
in yourself.
confident in yourself.
Mhm.
like you.
Exactly.
Okay,
I want what's best for you guys.
you
I
want what's
you-
best.
Yes, we're raising you to have morals, values, and what's the other word?
Confidence,
And
maybe?
confidence.
Right.
And I want you
Self-worth.
self-worth. I want you to go out there with your and have your head held high when you do things. When it doesn't matter, it could be like a job interview. If you want to play sports, I want you to give it your all.
And if it doesn't work out,
But
you
it's-
don't fall to pieces and you don't crumble.
But it's not self if you're helping us.
What?
It's not self-help if we're not helping you.
It's called self-help. You help yourself.
Yeah, but it's not self-help
with
if
the
they're
support of
helping
others.
us.
Right, with the support of
Exactly.
others. Yeah. You can't do self-help without a little bit of help. That's
Yep.
the
But yeah, but it's called self for a reason.
Oh, boy. Here's the thing. You want to keep encouraging,
Our job is to encourage you and point you guys
point
in
in the right direction. That's the point. But we can't do that if we're not sure and if we don't check ourselves. If we don't check our emotions and we don't check how we are looking at things and how we approach different different solutions, we have to check ourselves first.
Yeah.
Right? Learn onto ourselves and learn onto you, but we got to check ourselves first. And if we're not in the position to give you good advice, how are we supposed to give the advice to you and you're supposed to follow it? If it don't,
Make it up.
You know, make
Make-
it up.
make
As,
the women
well,
come
you
advice
know,
all the time.
fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah.
I guess so. So thinking about continuing to being supportive during those difficult times, what are some of the steps for overcoming failure, right? What do you think is some of the steps of overcoming failure?
I think some of the steps for overcoming failure is just overall, just keeping, as you guys said, like a positive mindset
Mm-hmm.
I know keeping positive mindset may be a little bit difficult, but I think just try to block out the negative things about life that you think that's negative to yourself. Try to block those out. Because if you don't block those out, then you're just gonna have all these sad thoughts, all these anger thoughts, and you're just gonna have that all pile up like a bunch of laundry. And then when it goes to the top, it's gonna fall down, and you're gonna fall down.
Right, and this is why our mental health is important.
Very, very important.
Because sometimes people spiral out of control, and then they don't know how to deal with it. You know, everybody goes through it.
And
just because you have, everybody has their bad days. Everyone has bad days.
Yeah.
You know, it's how you manage it, and it's how you perceive it, and it's how you deal with it.
Yeah.
In the end, to overcome it.
Yeah.
The other thing is like, it's really recognizing and accepting the failure. I think that's the first thing, knowing how do you overcome failure. You got to recognize it's a failure to begin with. Because I feel like like you mentioned before, like people are ignorant. There's a difference between being ignorant, right? And just straight up like just not recognizing, like you're just like, you don't recognize it as a failure. That, yeah, they're not familiar with it because their confidence or however their mindset is, you have to recognize the failure first, right? You got to acknowledge it. Like that's the first thing. The first thing to admitting that you have a problem is, I forgot. I want to reword that. The first way to recognize you have a problem is to admit that you have a problem, right? It's the same thing with failure. The first thing you got to do is you got to admit it's a failure. You got to take one for the team. You got to take the loss. You got to take it. That's what you have to do. What are some of the other steps for overcoming,
The next one
fear?
is analyze and learn from the experience.
For sure.
Reflect on what went wrong and identify lessons or areas for improvement.
Absorb. Okay.
This
that's another.
one man wonder thing is getting old.
Well, the first thing, you have to analyze it, right? So you have to look at it from, like, you have to do a quick analysis. What about this failure do I recognize? What about this failure how could have happened differently? First you want to recognize that it is the right alternative thinking of endings. Okay. But what I'm saying is you have to kind of analyzing the failure itself, right? That's one thing, right? You got to look at it from all different angles, right? This is the reason why you have to think of it in a different mindset. You have to look at things differently. 90 degree.
So you got to remember, analyze, learn from the experience, set new goals, and seek support.
Yeah.
Those are the steps.
If therapy is part of those steps.
It could be support from parents, friends, family.
Right.
Coaches, teachers, it could be anything.
Teachers will not help.
Well, no, when I say therapy, I say with it could be through, like, if you're failing class, you have your teachers, you can go to your teachers to help.
How are they gonna help? They're just gonna read
Because they're the one teaching it to you.
Yeah.
They're just gonna read you the problem and expect you to solve it.
Listen, I had some great teachers growing up. I don't know about you guys, your generation, but I had some great teachers that are always willing to stay behind.
Yeah, me too.
After school, they're willing to call you at home and
They
help
called
you.
mom, they called whoever they needed.
Yeah,
and
plenty of teachers.
Our
that did
teachers don't care.
wow. Just straight up.
I wish they did.
I think those are some of the questions that we were able to answer for this episode. And I really think that if you really think that there's any way else you can help, recognizing that resiliency is more than one thing, right? Resiliency, adversity, fortitude, grit, willpower, resistance, all these key terms, take it into consideration. Look at things differently. That's really how you build resiliency. Stress, anxiety, depression, suicide, mental health, everything is encompassed together. And we really have to take a hard look at each other as your family, as your parents, that we are not perfect, but we are here to support each other. All right? That's the most important thing. So Stefan, can you please lead us out?
Table for Four, a family conversation podcast, talks about all things family. Listen to past episodes about mental health, culture, stories, and much more. All new episodes are out every Wednesday on all platforms. Do not forget to watch full episode of School Community Convos on YouTube. Also, you should join us on live session streaming live on Wednesdays.
We're on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeartRadio, Breaker Radio, Podcast, Radio Public, Stitcher, Amazon, Audible, Castro, Podchaser, Pandora, and YouTube. Or find us on wherever you listen to your podcast. And do not forget to follow, like, and share on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Table for Four. We will catch up with you guys on the next episode.
This is Stephanie.
This is Andre.
This is Adrian.
This is your boy Stefan.
And this is
Table for Four, a family conversation podcast.
And we will see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.